Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello. Listen, I am so excited. I have Roland here with me today. You're watching a Couples Academy show. My name is Lakeisha Hines, and we are so excited to bring this topic to you today, valuing your spouse. Well, let me tell you, I'm going to be a little biased today, Roland. Normally, I'm not biased. Normally, I'm not. But we are celebrating Mother's Day all May. You see what I'm saying? Mother's Day all May. I need you all to ingrain this in your minds because this is what we are doing. Okay. At least that's what I'm doing. So we definitely will be a little biased today because I want you to be expressing and showing value to the special woman in your life, right? Because she's a mom, she's a nurturer, she's a supporter, she's a caregiver. Even if there aren't any children, I'm sure she's taking care of somebody. Okay. So we still want to celebrate her and make sure that she is feeling the love this entire month of May. How are you feeling today, Mr. Bradley?
I am doing excellent. Thank you. I'm happy to be sharing with you. And to all the mothers and to my wife in particular, good morning, gorgeous. I like to say that to all the mothers, to all the women, you all do deserve more than we can give. And we appreciate you all. We see you all, and we are thankful and grateful to have you all in our lives.
And this is why this brother has a happy wife and a happy life. You hear this? You hear this? This is what I'm talking about, public acknowledgement. And you know what? That is actually one of the things that we're going to discuss today. So that was a perfect segue. We're talking about the importance of valuing your spouse. It's so important that you do that. And I don't know if you know this, Roland, but on SOS, we've been talking about women, wives who feel as if their husbands only want them for sex. And one of the biggest challenges with that is they feel as if their husbands don't see the value in
Mm.
them. And if you don't find me valuable, then I'm literally just a masturbation sleeve for you.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I understand that that's how it can come off and that's how it can feel. And we know it's so much more than that, right? We know you love us. We know you care about us, but we need you to show it and express it. And today we'll talk about ways that you can do that. So, again, the very first one is to acknowledge your spouse publicly. That is so important that you acknowledge your spouse publicly. Why? I remember years ago, and I'm sure, you probably heard this too as well, Roland, but Steve Harvey talked about the three things that men do. Real men, not boys, real men. Let me be clear. Real men, they profess, they provide, they protect, right? They're providing for their families, they protect their families, specifically their wives, but the entire family, and they profess. And that profess part is really about publicly acknowledging that this is my queen, this is my woman, this is my lady. So Roland, what did you learn about the importance of professing as it pertains to the beautiful queen that you now have at the house with you?
So here's the thing, we as men and women alike in some form or fashion, we like to show off, right? If I get my new car, it's summertime, I'm going to make sure it's waxed, I'm going to make sure it's clean.
Right.
Ladies, if you get a new bag, you're going to make sure you bought the right shoes and the right dress to go along with your bag. And we can profess that for those material things, but then when it comes to our spouses, we'll tell a man, you walk ahead of me, or, the lady is being boisterous in her tone, in her attitude towards him. And people can see your body language if you are in love, if you have a dysfunctional relationship, a dysfunctional marriage. And one of the things that we tend to do because of social media as well is we want to have a trophy on our side, man or woman, right? It goes both ways. But I would much rather have my partner, my lover, my friend, my soulmate on my side, and that we can walk together, as opposed to making it seem as if I'm carrying some trophy around, or carrying, this is my
Mm,
man, and look at him, and so forth. We have to be able to express our love publicly,
mhm.
because doing so lets the world know how I feel about this man or this woman. So we professing your love publicly it's essential. It's vital to the
Yeah.
intimacy of your relationship, the binding of your relationship, and making sure that you guys are on the same page and everybody knows it.
That's right. And let me tell you something. We are the prize.
You
Okay.
are.
Because the Bible says, he who findeth a wife find a good thing, right? You're supposed to be out there searching, looking for us. We're not supposed to be out there looking for you. And so when you find us, there needs to be some type of verbal expression of the fact that, yes, this is, I found my person, I found my one, and I want to honor her not only in private, but in public as well. And as you said, likewise, we also should be unashamed to also acknowledge our men, right? We want to make other people know that this is my man and this is my king, and I'm honoring him as well. So I told you I was gonna be a little biased today, but you'll bring me back together. You'll get me together
No,
today.
it's okay, but one part you left out on the end part. There's a benefit in honoring our wives in particular. It's a benefit, right? He that finds a wife does find a good thing, but he also finds favor with God. Now, I'm not going to preach
Well,
to you this morning. I'm not
you
going to preach
can,
to you,
because I'm
but
feeling this.
but it's a benefit when we acknowledge the good thing that we have found that God has given us, and it's the beauty of it, right? So I want to just make sure that we are perfectly clear and understand. Men, acknowledge your spouse publicly the same way, if not even more, you do privately. That's all.
Well, there it is. And amen. Everybody pass the collection plate. Take up an offering. All right. So the next thing we want you to do is to prioritize your spouse. You should be prioritizing your spouse. And so what does that look, feel, and sound like? That means that there is nothing that is more important than my spouse. I know we get busy rolling. You're busy. I'm busy. Your wife is busy. My husband is busy. And you all have children just like I do. And they are pulling on us, and we're being pulled in all these different directions. And even, our extended family,
Mm-hmm.
are pulling on us, and they need things and whatever. But it should never be a situation where something or someone takes priority over our spouses. It's so important that we let them know that, listen, I don't care if all hell is breaking loose all around us. I need you to know that you are my number one priority. Next to God, of course, we need to make sure we're in order. God is first, and then you are next in line. And so nothing gets in the way of making time for your spouse and letting them know that without a shadow of a doubt that they are what's most important.
Yeah, it is absolutely imperative that we put our spouses first, because when we don't, something is going to go undone, right?
Mhm.
And most times the spouse get the brunt of things getting not done. Right,
Mhm.
I'm going to pull this overtime. I'm going to go do this with my girls. I'm going to go do this with the children. We have sports camp, and we have this, and we have this meeting and that meeting, and everything comes before our spouse. And what we fail to realize, that if we the more things we put before our spouse, the further away we get. And then
Yeah.
we don't understand why we feel disconnected. We don't
Mhm.
understand why we're not emotionally tied to one another, why we feel off, because we have not put in place the priority that my spouse is first, and then
Yes.
everything else comes after that.
Okay.
And so,
So,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, we have to understand the importance of our role, the importance of who's in our life and the role that they play. And
Yeah.
we have to make sure that we prioritize in a way that everybody else understands, because the world will treat you how you let them treat you.
Facts. Facts. So, you have ignored me all day for the past 2 3 days. 2 weeks have not made me priority. Okay. But then when your clock starts ticking, you expect me to prioritize your needs, and you haven't opened up your mouth to talk to me. You haven't opened up your heart to receive me. You haven't opened up your mind to talk and share what's going on with you, but you want me to open my legs to receive you. Like, it doesn't work that way. And it's not transactional. I don't want you to get caught up in that. It's not transactional, but it is one of those things where, as you said, Roland, it will create disconnect if you are not prioritizing your spouse. And it's on both sides. So I don't want you to feel as if I'm just saying, but I told you I'm speaking for the ladies all May, right? But I will say this, ladies, those of you who are bosses in the boardroom and neglecting your men in the bedroom, you're not making him a priority. And I talk to women who are in leadership positions, and I talk to women who are pastors, that are ministers, and they have a really hard time sometimes making that transition from the pulpit to the bedroom or to the house, right? It's like I'm the leader at this church because I'm the pastor. But when you come home, that hat comes off, and you are a wife and you are there to serve your husband. And so we have to make sure that we don't get caught up in our duties and responsibilities and our roles and all of those things. And then we neglect our spouses. And then, like you said, you're surprised when there's disconnect. So
Right.
everything is balanced, right?
There has to be balance. My wife speaks all the time. She has to make sure that she's intellectually stimulated. And she wants to be intellectually stimulated, because if I can tap into her intellect,
Mm-hmm.
then we can have intimacy in other areas. And so when we don't understand the again, the priority of how things work, we can't
Right.
just ignore and then expect to have intimacy. It doesn't
Right.
work like that. We have to make sure that we are building up to that place of
Mm-hmm.
being able to be together. So when
Mm-hmm.
you come together, it doesn't feel transactional, but it does feel like love. It does feel like it's meaningful and it's being productive. So we have to understand our role that we play, and it's not just what I want, it's not
Yeah.
just what you want, but it has to be something that we are in alignment to, so that we both benefit from it.
Well, amen. And the last point I will make on that is come together so you can come together. So now you need to spend quality time with your spouse. Quality time is everything. We know this is one of the five love languages, Roland. We talk about the five love languages all the time. So we know that this is a very pivotal, important aspect of your relationship. And we have to be spending time together. And it kind of goes in alignment with that prioritizing, right? Because we have to prioritize spending time together because it's easy. It's easy to get caught up in the day to day, the mundane, and all of those things. And we're not setting aside time to have quality time with our spouses. There's one thing about just being together. Like both of us are sitting on the couch watching TV, but you know what? One of you may not define that as quality time. We're just two people occupying the same space at the same time. So you really do have to define what that looks, feels, and sounds like for you. But it's important that we are spending that quality time together so that again, you make your spouse feel valued. And as I said, for women, I know this is a big thing, but for men, it's important too. If you always come in the house on the phone and your husband's over there waiting for you to get off the phone so you can talk to him about your day, or you're so busy, caught up and wrapped up in what you're doing with the kids, and by the time you're done with them, you have no energy left for him to do anything. I'm not even talking about sex, I'm talking about just a conversation, to just debrief and just let him connect, and just let him know how your day was. Like that's important. So we do have to make sure we're setting aside that time to send that message to our spouses that you're valuable and you're worth it for me to set this time aside specifically for you.
It's no different. We've heard it time and time again growing up. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. And
Mhm.
anytime we are not spending quality time together, it opens up the door for the devil to roam and go to and fro, seeing who he may devour. And we give him that access when we don't prioritize our spouses and spend the necessary quality time that we need. And to your point, it is the a part of the five love languages. Is in particular my wife, that's her, one of her love languages is the fact that she needs quality time.
Mhm.
So many times I was running to go buy flowers, and I was running to do this, and I was running to do that, when all she really wanted was 5 minutes of my time. She wanted quality time. And
Mhm.
when we understand what the value is in that quality time, we will become purposeful on making sure that the quality time is there. We cannot continue to put things in front of our spouses and miss the
Amen.
time that we have, because there can be a time when you don't have that time, unbeknownst to you. right?
Mhm.
Things happen.
Mhm.
We don't know when they're going to happen. We don't know how they're going to happen. And you have a better appreciation, right? When you can come together and have that time. And I would much rather you do it now than wait until something happens and you can't do it at all.
Exactly. I just want to highlight Team Smith. Good morning, Team Smith. They said quality time is key to connect, allows you to come together to have those hard conversations and even cook together and bond. Exactly, exactly, 100%. So, listen, I hope this is helping you all. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't swipe left or right. Don't touch anything. Just stay right there and we'll be right back. You're watching the Couples Academy show.
What is the best gift or investment for a newly engaged couple?
What do couples really need? Proactive, transparent, synergy. They need to synthesize a 12-week premarital group counseling experience that combines the mind, heart, mission, and vision for an effective future.
No matter the age or life experience, this research-based curriculum will help to increase marriage resilience by 30%. Why choose Synthesize for premarital counseling? 1. To better understand yourself and your partner and to audit your past and present condition in order to be a proactive couple.
2. To engage in crucial conversations about finances, communication, sex, and intimacy. To be fully and completely transparent.
3. To develop a unified vision and mission in order to embody high levels of synergy.
Give the gift that builds proactive, transparent synergy. Synthesize.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Again, you're watching a Couples Academy show, and we're discussing the importance of valuing your spouse, the importance of that, how you actually can do that, and maybe even we'll get into some of the pitfalls, some things that you need to avoid, so we can help you all out. The next point we wanted to make was you really do need to express your gratitude for your spouse. Gratitude goes so far beyond thank you. Like that's the surface level of gratitude. We have to go so much deeper than that because a thank you is cool. Like that's almost an expectation. Rolling, right? Don't you think? Like it's an expectation if I do something for someone, I expect them to say thank you. And if someone does something for me, like I know at the minimum, at the bare minimum, I can say thank you. But we have to go deeper than that. We have to go beyond that to express our gratitude. And you need to do it in a way that's going to speak to your wife. One of the points that you made right before we took a break, Roland, was that you were trying to do certain things to please your wife, make her happy, um, make her feel valuable, make her feel loved. And she was like, okay, I'm good on that. Those things are nice, but really what I want is your time, right? So we have to get to know our spouses and know what works for them, like what really touches that sweet spot for them to let them know that, you know what, you really do appreciate who I am, what I'm doing, how I'm showing up, and that goes such a long way. So, I think about saying thank you, but then beyond that, saying, hey, I'm thankful for, giving them reasons why you're thankful, giving them details, specific things that they've done. That's one part. But the second part is who they are, right?
Mhm.
Because if you only talk about what I've done, then you're putting the value in my service only and not the value in who I am as a unique individual. So we got to have both, right? Got to have that balance of both.
If you don't understand the value of a thing, you will misuse or abuse it. And we have to understand the value in our wives, men. We have to understand the value in our husbands, women. But we also have to make sure, like to your point, we go beyond just the surface. We've been taught to be polite. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Say thank you. Say please. Right. But to your point, I need to go beyond. I am thankful for. I am grateful for. I appreciate you for, what you have done and who you are. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like, we know men and women that they do good things, but who they are speaks to the value of the things that they do.
Yeah.
Because you can't give without loving, but you can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving.
Hmm.
Meaning that we can just do things just because, right? But if
Mm-hmm.
you say you love me, you're going to give of yourself, you're going to give up your time, you're going to give up your money, you're going to give up your efforts. And we have to make sure that we understand what that looks like. I appreciate you for being my wife, for being my friend, for being my life partner. Like, we can do so much more together than we can apart. And I appreciate it's you that I'm
Yeah.
doing life with, right?
Good.
So it's we have to understand the value, but it's unfortunately the society that we live in right now. We put so much value on so many other things before our spouse, before
Absolutely.
our marriage, before our own legacy. Like, so many other things are worth more, and we fail to recognize and honor what we
Mm-hmm.
do have right in front of us.
Absolutely. And all of those things that are being done to build up the marriage, and to acknowledge and appreciate our spouses, I think I'm doing what I'm doing because of who I am. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, this is who I am at my core. I'm serving you because that's who I am. I'm loving you because that's who I am. And I'm giving you these things because of who you are. So
Yes.
I think, it's related and it's all connected, because I can't show you love if I don't have love for you. So you made a
Mhm.
really, really good point, with that and breaking that down. All right. So this is my favorite. We need to perform unconditional acts for our spouses. So, today we're kind of touching on some of these five love languages. This is kind of like one of the other ones, acts of service, but you want to perform unconditional acts for your spouse. And unconditional is the key word there. And that's necessary because you, again, we never want these relationships to seem or to be or to appear transactional. I'm
Mhm.
doing this because you did that, positively or negatively, right? So we want to make sure that, again, it's unconditional. I'm doing this out of love. I'm doing this out of genuine care and concern for you, because it's the right thing to do, because I want to make you happy. I want to make you feel good. And so many times, and I will confess, this was me too. When I entered into marriage, my thought process and my mentality was, how can my spouse serve me? I
Mhm.
was not thinking about serving him, right? We're going into this thing. What can I get out of this covenant relationship? And that thought process was completely wrong, because I should have been entering into it saying, how can I serve? Because that is what God requires us to do. And marriage is all about service, leadership, service. That is what it is. And so if you don't have the right mindset when you're doing these things, it's not going to be received the way that you intend. And your spouse will not feel valuable. They will just feel as if you're doing this because you're trying to get something out of them or from them, or you're trying to prove something. See, I did this, and you need to appreciate who I am because of what I did, and it's wrong. So it needs to be unconditional, to let your spouse know that I'm doing it just because you're valuable, and I want you to know that, and I want to show you that.
Thank you for setting me up, Lakeisha, because so many times we have so many couples, we have so many clients. You can see that they're counting how many times they did X, Y, and Z, how many
Hmm.
times you didn't do X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah,
so oftentimes the key word is we are so selfish in our behavior
yeah,
because we want to do something, but we are always looking for something in return. You have to perform unconditional unconditionally doing things, not expecting anything in return. I'm doing this because I love you. I'm doing this because of who you are. I'm just glad that you're here and I can do for you. I'm just glad that I have the ability to do for you. And we
Mhm.
miss the mark so many times because we are counting on what is going to be done for me. What am I going to get out of it? You know,
Yep.
I've done X, Y, and Z, and you haven't done anything. And so now it becomes competition. Now it becomes in comparison to, right? So if I've done 10 things, I'm expecting you to do 15 things. If I do 15 things, I'm expecting you to do 20
Woo.
things. But we have to
Mhm.
be willing to do 100 things and get zero in return sometimes because I
Mhm.
am doing it unconditionally. Unconditionally means it's not based on any condition. It means that I will do it in spite of, regardless to rain, sleet, or snow. I will go to the mountaintop and profess my love for you because you are
Mm.
my priority. And
Mhm.
that is doing it the right way.
Absolutely. And just one more thing on that. I think it's selfish, you know? It's selfish when you are doing things expecting something in return
Mm-hmm.
because there's a certain level of pridefulness that comes with this. I deserve this or I deserve that. And it's like, no, God told you to serve. That's what you do in this relationship. And many times we're looking for our reward from our spouse, but sometimes the reward is coming from God. And you got
Right.
to know that what you're doing, your service, is to honor God. When you're single, the way that you honor God is through your service and what you do for others in the community and
Mm-hmm.
in the church and all of that. But when you are married, the way that you show your love for God is through how you show up for your spouse, how you treat your
Mm-hmm.
spouse, how you serve your spouse. So your motive and intent is off if you're looking for a reward at all. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely, if you're looking for it from your spouse, then you're out of alignment because your reward, again, most times, many times, let me not say most, a lot of times, it comes from God. And yes, we can get that immediate gratification from our spouses when you bring that bouquet of flowers and they smile and that just makes their day. Like you will get some of that gratitude immediately sometimes. But even if you don't, it's okay
It's
because
okay.
I'm doing this to honor God and to serve my spouse and make sure I'm in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing in this marital relationship.
It's just very key. I'm not coming behind you to say anything because that was on point. And we just have to realize and honor the one that we chose to honor, period.
Hmm.
I don't know how else to say it. Honor the one you have chose to honor. And it's just when we honor the one we've chosen to honor and we
Yep.
honor God, we can't not go wrong.
You can't lose. You cannot lose. You cannot lose. I love it. I love it. Okay. So listen, last thing we want to share with you all, I think you're going to feel like we already talked about this, but it's put your spouse first. And so, Lakeisha, didn't you and Roland just say we're supposed to prioritize our spouses? Yeah, we said that. But now this is different. And let me tell you how it's different when you put your spouse first. Just like God said, there shall be no other gods before me, there shall be no other people before my spouse. What I tell you, what's the order? God, spouse, children, and everybody else after that, right? So we have to make sure that we are always putting our spouses first before anyone else. Nothing speaks of appreciation or value more than treating the person you love as if they are irreplaceable.
Hmm.
I remember Beyonce came up with this song a long time ago, and it was called Irreplaceable. She was going through something. She was hurt. Okay. And she was letting her brother know, please know that you are replaceable. But you know what? When it comes to these marital relationships, you cannot be replaced because this is the person that God assigned for me. And no one can take their place, nor should there be anyone that you're trying to have take their place. And there shouldn't even be thoughts or considerations about replacing them. If things are not going well, they're not going right. Let's do the work we need to do to get it right. But nobody should be coming before your spouse. No one.
Period. That's just the
Period.
absolute. It's nothing else after that. Put your spouse first. Period. It doesn't matter who. It does not matter what else is around. Who comes after. Put your spouse first. And a lot of times we have to do that in order to let everybody else know, let
Mhm.
the world know that this is the first person that I am prioritizing my life for. Put
That's
your
it.
spouse first in all the things that you do. When you're having to make a decision, consider your spouse first. When you're having to when you're thinking, contemplating doing the wrong thing,
Right.
put your spouse first. When you
Mhm.
have something in front of you that is negative, put your spouse first. If you keep your spouse first in front of you, you cannot go wrong. It will give you the opportunity to live your best life in
Yeah.
ways that you've never done before.
Never ever done before. Go out of your way to put your spouse first because, again, the spouse who feels appreciated and valued by the person they've chosen to partner with is likely to engage in more physical intimacy and openness and communication.
Mm.
And so, everything that you want, you can have if you keep your spouse first. So we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. We will be here same time, same place tomorrow morning. Make sure you tune in. You all have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching the Couples Academy show. Be blessed, everyone. Bye.